they're high.
Well, yeah, I mean...
The percentage, because it was an adjustable rate mortgage, they may have been paying 2, 3%. It could go up to 7, 8 or more.
But say for example, you have $5,000 a month in income, and you get qualified for a mortgage based on the $5,000. Well, $5,000 of gross income, I know the rule of thumb used to be 33% of your gross income monthly is what you should qualify for as a mortgage. They would be able to increase that, because if the interest rate on the mortgage is less, you qualify for more money. But they can only get you that lower interest rate for a fixed period of time. And once that fixed period of time expired, the payment, of course, would go up and shoot you over that 33% of your monthly gross.
Right.
So, people come into the office, and it's astounding, because before they put food on the table, they're laying out $3,000, $4,000 a month, and they're making $6,000 a month. It's an impossible situation. So, just getting back to your original question, we're seeing more and more of this. But the good thing is that people, I think, are becoming more educated. Do you agree, Susan?
Yes.
And people are going to the internet. They're finding more resources. There's all these consumer credit counseling agencies out there, and it appears that there's this whole culture of I guess, financial people out there who are really willing to help. And I've come across quite a few people who are doing it for free.
Well, let me ask you this, because, and this question is for both of you. I'm sure that there are scam artists there, too.
Oh, there are, yes.
So is there something that you could say will help us to differentiate when we go online or go to a library to look in the reference material, or however we get the information, to say, here is a legitimate credit counseling service, as opposed to one that maybe they're trying to just get a fast buck and leave me high and dry?
Well, I think in answering your question, Dan, and if you don't mind, Chris, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
One of the first things to look at is the presentation of the company as a whole.
Yes.
Some of them are guaranteeing that they can work your mortgage out and get it modified. There's no guarantee. The bank has parameters, and in conjunction with those parameters, they're going to want to see your financial data. In other words, your income versus your expenses. And then they're going to ask for a proposal. What are you asking us to do? And then you have to show that whatever the proposal you make, that your income will support making those payments. So if a company says, call us, we guarantee we can get your mortgage modified, that's probably the first key term that they might not be on the up and up. That's not to say that it's everyone, but that's your first indicator. The second one is when it's a flat rate fee, pay us $3,500 or $5,000. And $3,500, I say that seems to be the trigger. For $3,500 up front, we'll get your mortgage modified. They don't really know. They should take a smaller amount, maybe assess it and give you an opinion. Because once you pay that $3,500, you don't know where it's gone. It's a non-refundable fee. It's out the door. And they might do something, they might do nothing, but they're promising a guarantee, and they're promising a big, hefty fee right up front that has to be paid before they'll even address your mortgage.
Now, we've been addressing quite a few different areas of the financial crisis, but there are some people who don't have mortgages. They rent. So in debt consolidation, do these companies help you with credit card debt?
Let me just go back for a second, Dan, just to follow up with what Susan was saying. It's important that people know this. Debt consolidation, when you talk about somebody who doesn't have a house, that doesn't involve a mortgage, is something that can be handled by nonprofits out there. There are companies out there who don't charge anything.
Right.
And when somebody does, just like Susan said, when a company says, we want $1,000 up front, I would run fast, because most of those companies, yeah, I mean, I'm sure they work out some deals sometimes. I don't know how many times, though, in my office, and Susan, you probably experienced this, somebody comes into the office and they present me with this big worksheet, and they went to one of these companies and they paid them $1,500 or $2,000, and they did a nice spreadsheet. They listed all the creditors, and they listed how much was owed, and they looked at the monthly income, and they figured out how much disposable income they had to satisfy the debt, and they started working with the companies, and it came to an impasse when they couldn't pay those companies with a little bit of money that they had in disposable income. So they come up with a plan that just wasn't workable. And what they do is they pay the money to the company, and the company disperses the money to the credit card companies. So recently I've had probably a half a dozen of these people come in, and I had to fight with the companies to get the money back, because they've paid in and they put it in their escrow accounts,
right,
and then they pay the companies. And a lot of times they don't pay the companies because they haven't actually worked out deals with all the companies. But they say to the individual, they say, look, start paying $300, $400 a month. We'll put it in escrow, and then we'll start making deals with these people. I had a woman come in. It's been going on for a year. She's been paying $400 a month, so they had $4,800 of her money, and they didn't pay anybody. I called them up. I said, well, look, I'm an attorney. I'm taking over the case, and actually we were going into a bankruptcy situation. And I said, could you please refund that money? She needs it. We're involved in a bankruptcy, and that's going to actually be something that we're going to be listing on the bankruptcy petition. And I had a difficult time getting the funds for these folks. So if you see a company out there and they look like, wow, they're really appealing, but they're asking for money or they're making promises, I would go the other way. There's a lot of resources out there that are free. Most offices, like our office, we offer free consultation. So most attorneys will offer a free consultation. Most of these debt consolidation companies will offer a free consultation.
When people go to the debt consolidation companies, they don't have the same power that lawyers do, right? They don't have the ability to legally begin proceedings or to engage in certain activities that, say, your office could do.
Right. Well, I mean, if they're not lawyers. I mean, I've seen debt consolidation companies that are run by lawyers. So that happens.
There you go.
When you talk about power, well, we don't really have much power, frankly, Dan. But, yeah, I mean, we have the ability, we have skills and tools that we can use to get people into court or to defend. I mean, generally people come to us after they've been sued. A foreclosure complaint or a consumer creditor has filed a complaint against them because they haven't paid their credit card bill or they lost a car, it was repossessed and they have a deficiency judgment or something like that. So most people wind up coming to us because they're involved. And usually it's too late if the car's gone or the debt's been sent to a collection agency, for example, and they started a lawsuit. We'll try to defend them. Most of the time it's just a matter of us coming up with some kind of an agreement with the company for a payment plan.
Right.
Or coming up with, sometimes to pay them off, they'll take half. These credit companies who buy bad debt, the credit collection companies, they'll pay sometimes 20, 30 cents on a dollar. So if there's a $1,000 debt and they buy it for $300, we can usually get them to accept maybe $500, to pay off the debt. And that's part of what we do also. I mean, as part of the debt consolidation, we will contact creditors, and assuming that the individual has some money to work with, we could generally get the creditors to compromise. I'm sure you've seen that, Susan, right?
Absolutely, yes. I'm seeing that more and more.
Now, Chris said something interesting, because he said when they come to us and sometimes it's too late for certain actions, what about those who want to avoid it becoming too late? What can we do to prevent some of this from happening? If you're in a situation that Chris described where someone lost their job, you find that you're upside down,